I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. This one is for, not the children, but good morning, children, if you are watching. I have my mug, my Wall Drug mug. Have you been to Wall Drug? You've been out to South Dakota? Badlands National Park, Mount Rushmore? There's a thing called Wall Drug. Never mind. It's not worth going to. It's just a tourist trap. But it's coffee day today. I'm going to try and make this short. This one is actually for the feminist media and I guess leftist in general. But it is inspired by two posts, one written by Roosh and one by Matt Forney, about how the mainstream media and feminists and I guess leftists in general are interacting with the manosphere. And what's happening is these groups, feminism, feminists, blah, 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 I'm talking to the leftists and all that, you come across the manosphere like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, it's just how horrible, how sexist, I can't believe this is happening. So let me try and explain what's going on here with the manosphere and all that. Take it for what you will, hear me out, just try and be intellectually honest and listen. You've been pretty much grown up or brought up in a bubble for the past 50 years. Feminists, media types, and leftists in general. Okay, you've had government running cover for you. You've had education running cover for you. You've had media running cover for you. All your information that's been coming into you has been filtered to one extent or another. That's an echo chamber, and you're always right, and you're always correct. And for a perfect example is, especially the feminists, you really do believe, I think some of you I know for a fact you know it's bullshit and you're just using it to get more money, as we'll see here later. But a lot of you really do believe that women are oppressed and that men have all this money and we're all the powerful, you're wrong. You're brainwashed. Okay? Now, some of you are willingly brainwashed. Some of you know it's all BS, and that's how you get more government money and more advertising and more people spending money on your ad campaign or whatever. I get that. But a lot of you actually believe this, right? It's not true. You got to look at data. You got to look at statistics. Right? But because you've been in this bubble for so long, you've been in this echo chamber, you're incapable of conceiving the idea or comprehending the idea of something like the manosphere, let alone that it exists. So when this group of guys comes along, and women, and we're just basically being guys, we're talking the truth, it doesn't fit with your narrative and the script that you've had for the past 50 years. And then you freak out. You're like, oh my gosh, what's this got to happen? Now, you immediately go default what the media and the left and government types always have, and that is villainize, shame, criminalize, and then they go away. And for the most part, it's worked. Right? You've gotten Republicans to be the little, oh God, they're such little pussies. They're spineless. I mean, John Boehner, somebody, get him a gag ball. I'm honest to God. Give him a gimp outfit. Not to go BDSM so early in the morning. But where was I going with this? Yeah, you've gotten people to buckle before, but not the manosphere. And yeah, the perfect example was where that 2020 piece, what was it? I got it up here somewhere. Yeah, Alexa Valiente and Alyssa Pry, two little children from college, with their liberal arts degree. I got to call it child. And they just lie. It wasn't even spinning the truth. It was outright lies. And they thought they'd get away with it. They thought, oh, look, sexist men. It's the evil, dark, sinister place called the Manosphere. Well, little did you realize, this is not a fringe element. This is not a bunch of angry, some of them are angry, legitimately so, but that's another thing. It's legitimate. It's real. And you know what? It's the majority. Most men think this way. Right? Some of them are still brainwashed to the left. Some of them still, they swallowed all that. It takes a while to undo 20 years of brainwashing. But all of a sudden, here comes deep down inside, this is how most men think. And a lot of women, I might add too, I'd say about a good quarter of the women, a good quarter of the manosphere are women. They actually believe, I know it's shocking, women would actually believe this. Right? But you don't understand, it's a beast. Like, how could this happen? It's sexist, okay? So, you don't know how to approach the manosphere. Right? Now, you thought it would go away. You thought you would attack it, it would go away, and then we came back in force. If you look at the comments section, it's proof right there that ABC is wrong. It's proof right there it was a hit piece. And it's proof right there that, I guess what really scares, this is probably what scares most of you, is how not the content or that it's shocking. Oh my gosh, did he say women like to be spanked? Oh, that's not what scares you. And it's not even that so many people believe it, like it's not fringe, then it might be mainstream, which it is. That's scary right there. But that's not the scariest thing I think scares you. It's the fact it's so visceral and unabashed and balls to the wall. No one gives a fuck. No one cares anymore what they say. Usually you gotta have, like, if you're a professional, you're a politician, you're a Republican, you're a conservative, whatever, you gotta tiptoe, say the right things, walk around it, because you got them dancing, you got them on the leash. They're your bitch. You fucking own them, not us. That's what scares you. And you're trying to find a way to leash us back in, to get us back down. So then, of course, Southern Poverty Law Center, whatever, the typical institutions come out and they try their best hit pieces, but it doesn't work. Now I'm going to give you a little clue, and this is kind of the nub of the whole presentation. Why we're here to stay, and you can't stop us. Why we're unstoppable. Right? I don't mean this in a loud screaming that we're here to stay, you can't stop us, girl power. No. I'm telling you in a, kind of think of this like, not Nazi, but a German officer. Very Prussian, very German. You're at war. He does not hold any ill will necessarily to you, another commander. He's just going to tell you, matter-of-factly, we are unstoppable. And you can't stop us. We have superior technology, superior armament, whatever. Not that the Germans did lose. I'm just saying that attitude, that very stoic, unemotional, not excited, you cannot stop us. And let me explain why. Because we have nothing to lose. And this is what you really should be fearing. What I mean by we have nothing left to lose, I wish Rush and Forney would point this out, is that you have taken pretty much everything away, consciously or not, devil or dupe, away from men. Men need a purpose in life. We need agency. Davis Arini over at Stares at the World did a great job about agency. He taught me that, and now it makes complete sense. Men are like little bundles of energy, and you could plug us into society and have us advance society and create all the cool shit that you use. Because we did. We fucking made everything. Men fucking rule, dude. Oh, is that sexist? I'm sorry. Does all girls rule and men just fucking drool? What the... In any case, men are little bundles of energy, little generators. And you plug us into society and we make shit happen. Create things, build things, stuff like that. How we did this was in three main ways. Okay? Our careers, being husbands, and being fathers to children. Now, consciously or not, dupes or devils or not, you have destroyed and taken away all three things from men. Okay? And you've done it through one thing and one thing only, and that is the government. You have basically taken the government and you have replaced men. Right? We give you the right to vote in 1924, it was. And women just vote for socialism. That's it. That's what you do. Right? I'm not criticizing this. Again, the Stoic German, you do that because logically you think, I want to help the children, I want to help the poor, I want to help the elderly. Where women have failed spectacularly is taking the next step thought of how the fuck do we pay for it? And what are the consequences if we start having government play that role, taking on that role? Now, what ends up happening, well, beforehand, who did that? Men. It was men's job to be the provider, men's job to raise the family, head of household, whatever. Now, I'm not even again Stoic German. I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. All right, I will say it's right, but that's another time. That's what it was before. Now you have the government come in, and over the past 70, 80, 90 years, you have voted in more and more government. Okay. And slowly but surely, you have replaced men in all three of these roles. Right? The careers, we don't have careers. Look at the young kids today, millennial males today. What are they supposed to do? You have made, the government now accounts for 40% of GDP. in 1900, I think it was 3%, some minimal amount. Okay? Well, if the government gets that big, it crowds out the private sector. And there isn't a lot of jobs left over. And if you're a for-profit company, you say, well, I don't want to 40%, forget it, we're going to Bermuda. There's no innovation, no investment. Now, I know you're all brainwashed. I know you've been in the echo chamber a long time. You think, well, they could just get government jobs. You can't just have all government. Some genuine economic production has to be there. We can't all be firemen. You know how all you girls want to be teachers? I want to be a teacher because I love the children, and I want 3 months of my year off, and I don't want to work hard, and I don't like math. All guys want to be cops. Well, you become a cop or a fireman. It's the same thing. You can't all be cops. We can't all be teachers. There has to be somebody making food and shit. Not fecal material, but, like wallets and books like Cubanos in Wisconsin from Silvio Canto, huh? Silvio, that was one hell of a segue. You owe me for that one. Video games. This shit has got to get produced, and it isn't produced by government. Everything is produced by the private sector. The government merely takes it. If you don't believe that, I can't help you. You're beyond thing. Anyway, there isn't any jobs because the entire emphasis and focus has been on the state. That's what it's been. We want the government to take care of everything. Okay, well, now there are no jobs for millennials. Not to mention we've outsourced any kind of industry and production to foreign countries. Not necessarily blaming the left for that. But that's it. Now, that's one of the 3 main pillars that give men value and purpose in life. You've taken away their career. And we could get some crappy career, but it isn't going to be rewarding or challenging. Next thing, husbands. Oh my God. You feminists, I'm sorry, let's be blunt, okay? And this is where it's going to take a lot of intellectual honesty on your part. Most feminists are ugly as sin. Most women who swallow feminism become ugly, or are ugly. Right? Slut walks, fat acceptance, you are physically repulsive to males. This is not an opinion, this is not heteronormative sex, whatever fucking bullshit words and fancy words you come up with to make yourself sound intelligent when you're just hiding the fact you can't do math. You are not attractive to men. And women who follow feminism and pierce their tongues and tat themselves up and, I don't need a man. And, well, you're not going to get one. Right? And on top of it, the attitude, now this is more the media, where you take Miley Ray Cyrus and you make little girls think they want to be like her. You ruin women. It's like, let's not to objectify, I'm using this as an analogy, please be intellectually honest. Let's say I have a hankering for some apples. I go to the grocery store, and I go and I look at the apples, and they're all rotten, they got worms coming off them. That's essentially what feminism has done to women. You've ruined and spoiled the quality and caliber of women. Right? Now, don't get upset. Don't say, well, there's been oppression. From the man's perspective. Again, kind of think like that. You've never thought about how anything you have done in the past 50, 60 years has affected men. You've never once asked what the men meant. Men want big boobs, tight asses, long legs, pretty face, and a nice demeanor. We can go into personalities, but that's what you've completely ruined that for men. Then what men are unfortunate enough to get married, half into divorce, and then what percent of those who aren't divorced are miserable? Because the woman got fat, doesn't have any logic, whatever. We get the millions of things that there's no June Ward or June Cleaver. There's no housewife. Forget housewife. There's no wife out there, or it's very rare, that actually takes the time to think about how can I make my man happy? How can I take care of my man? It's always, he better pay for this, and I want a house in the suburbs, we gotta have that, There's no concept of altruism, or is it empathy, sympathy? I think it's empathy. Capacity to think of the other person, and then care for that other person. To selflessly love that in the expectation of that being it. But that's gone. That's been ruined. That's out of there. That's long gone. Hell, that was gone when the baby boomers took over. Back in the 70s, when we were listening to the Doors, I like that Jim Morrison fella. He really stuck it to that World War II generation. What a bunch of losers and squares they were, man. Hey, remember Easy Rider? Wasn't that a cool movie? Yeah. Drugs and motorcycles. So you ruin the women. Then finally, kids. It's kind of hard to have a functional family when the quality and caliber of women that men get to choose from for wives is absolute shit. And I'm not saying the quality and caliber of men has exactly been great or grandiose either. I understand there's plenty of douchebags and deadbeat. I get it, don't worry. But you can't effectively raise children. Well, one, you can't get married and then you can't have children. Although that doesn't stop people because, like, once again, you have the state replacing fathers. Fuck it, you don't need a dad. Go, here's a government check. Here's some WIC. Here's daddy government check. Right? In any case, getting more of a logical approach, we probably don't want to get married. We don't want to get married. Look at the statistics. Men are getting married less. We are having less children because, one, we don't like the women that we have to choose from. We would never think about putting our children through that or would-be children through that. And those that we do have children with are either given to women majority of custody by the divorce courts, and the vast majority certainly receiving some kind of government aid where the government has replaced the dad. It's not that men can't spawn or breed children, it's that they can't father and rear and raise and guide and lead children. Right? So you've taken that away. So basically, there's no career, there's no wife, there's no children, no family. So what does a man have to live for? Really, what does the millennial man today have to live for, young man? Right? There's nothing. Okay? This is why they go play video games, do drugs, go online porn, whatever, to fill in their other... Because it's not worth pursuing what has been over millennia the normal pursuits of men. Now, when you take away these things, whether the men understand it or not, like my perfect example is like the angry male liberal who's upset about his lot in life, and he has the logic and the intelligence to know why he's angry, but he's been so thoroughly brainwashed just recently out of college, finally gets out of the K through college education system. He's blaming things that you've told him to blame. Sexism, George Bush, God almighty, George Bush. Are you ever going to let that one go? Jesus Christ. So anyway, there's angry men, all right? Conservative, it doesn't really matter, their politics. They're angry. Now, if you've taken away everything they've had to live for, how do you stop them? What happens when that angry liberal starts reading the Manosphere? What happens when you have a thing called the internet and men slowly start to naturally form networks and groups, compare notes, saying, hey, did that have... See, like, perfect example, I was in Wisconsin. I thought something was wrong in Wisconsin. I thought, boy, Milwaukee must really suck. The women here suck. I can't wait to get to college and go to Minneapolis. I just thought that it didn't make sense to my brain. How could these girls be acting like that? She said she was going to show up on the date. Why did she not show up on the date? Why did I get stood up? That's not right. Doesn't matter what's right. That's what it was. All across the state, the country, all across the Western civilization. Get to Minneapolis, girls still stand you up. Get to Chicago, you got girls threatening suicide. You got girls who are racist, or her parents were anyway. Anyway, doesn't make sense. But now we're comparing notes. Now we're figuring, and now, slowly but surely, actually quite rapidly, we are reconstituting the wisdom and theories and laws that previous men had before the 50 years of leftist, feminist, socialist, government, media, academia, echo chamber was put over the country and no one was allowed to have a thought outside of it. And that's why you can't stop it. We are putting together these laws and theories. We are starting to figure out things again. In fact, we've already figured them out pretty much. And what's worse is there's nothing you can do to stop us, because ultimately what all the leftist, feminist, socialist power, where it comes from, is being able to threaten to take something away of value. In other words, you can't stop a man who has nothing left to lose. You've taken everything away from him. What are you going to do to hold hostage to prevent him from speaking his mind, or gunning after you, or exposing you? There's nothing. There's nothing you can do to stop us, because you're powerless. You have no teeth. The Republicans, yep, you could call them racist all day, and they'll dance around your little eggshells. Men, or people in general, doesn't have to be men, anybody who has a job and a family and a mortgage, we call them the wage slave or the debt mule or wage mule. They're so up to their ears in debt, and with a wife that doesn't like them too much and kids they can barely afford, they have to donate to the United Way. They can't be the slightest little thing. What do you do to millennials, though, who don't have mortgages? What do you do to Gen Xers who don't have student debts? What do you do to young men who don't have any hope or careers that they can lose? There's nothing. And that's why, again, as the Stoic German telling you, we're going to overrun you. We are going to not Hitler. Hitler, too crazy. All right? Controlled, Rommel-like German general coming right up to you. We are going to run over you. We are not stoppable. We have superior technology. It's a fact. All right? So, this puts us at kind of like a interesting impasse. It's not an impasse because we're going. There's no way to stop us. If you want to stop the Manosphere, or work with the Manosphere, or understand the Manosphere, if you want to at any point in time exercise intellectual honesty, you can start to understand. You can start to ask questions. You can say, what is it? Here's a crazy concept. You could start asking, what is it that men want? And then start advocating policies and laws and an economy and a society that incorporates the desires of men into the law and the economy and how we work. The problem though I see with that is it is so against your ideology. It's so against you. You're whether you actually intellectually know it or not, whether you believe what we're saying or not, I don't think you're capable because you are so vested in the system you've set up for the past 50 years of government make-work jobs, liberal media, biased media, and keeping people in the dark. I don't think you're capable because here's what's going to require to get men to stop attacking you. You got to give us those three things back. Or at least a career to get the bachelor's back. And see, that would require instituting capitalism. We have a capitalist system. No, you don't. 40% GDP, government. Shut the fuck up. It's a number. I don't care how much you don't like numbers. It's a fact. Look it up. You need to give us economic opportunities. You need to give us growth again. You need to give us careers. And not, here's a government check. Not, oh, well, you can become a bureaucrat over at the social work department. We need to build shit, innovate and create things. Hell, just work. Something productive. Hey, look at all these plants I made or something like that. But you can't do that because you need the money. You need to constantly snuff out the private sector. You need to parasite off of it. So you can have your make-work, social work jobs and professor jobs and, the Obama Navigator. Holy fucking shit. Do you know how much innovation and creation you could have gotten out of humans if instead of paying those degenerate scum, those worthless vermin, if you gave it to people who actually produce something of value? Could you imagine? Because I know that's how you make your money. That's your industry. All right? But that's the dichotomy. Until you start giving us careers, wives, and children and families, and laws that allow, kind of stable upbringing, we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep going for it. And unfortunately, not only are you politically against it and ideologically set against having a private sector, having women be feminine, and allowing men to have children or taking the state out of rearing the children, it's too late. I mean, it's not like you could just throw a switch. Let's take Bambi or Bimbo. Bambi the Bimbo. She's out there slut walking, and she's got her worthless master's degree in puppetry or some kind of bullshit. I don't make these things up. It's not like you throw a switch, she loses 120 pounds, gets rid of the tats, pulls the tongue piercing out of her mouth, all of a sudden becomes like, oh yeah, you know what, I really think I should start having some children. Maybe it would be nice to have a husband and maybe a little bit of a career or something. Like, that doesn't happen. It takes 18 years just to raise a kid and groom it to the point it's an adult. An entire generation of women have been ruined. It's over. There's no... So the best shot is for men to maybe date younger, but you gotta wait for those kids to grow up. By that time, you know, you're too old. Do you really want to watch fucking 90210 or whatever the hell the kids watch nowadays? I don't know. Right? That's done. And then by default, that also ruins kids. So the only real thing, the only olive branch you could give the manosphere right now is to start advocating capitalism. Start saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, this Social Security thing ain't gonna work. We gotta phase it out. We gotta phase out Medicare, Medicaid. We gotta lower our taxes. We gotta get back to like old school, kicking ass, like 1890s, pure capitalism. Let boys be boys. Let's get the next Henry Ford. Let's get the next J.P. Morgan. Let's go get all these guys. Let's go kick ass and take. We gotta replace equality with excellence, equal opportunity, but we do not care about the outcomes. Yeah, there's charity and all that. We can deal with that later, right? Till that comes back, there's nothing. Right? So we're coming after you. Because it really is the only thing we can do. Hell, you know, we're making money. Look at Tom Likas. Look at Roosh. Look at Stefan Mullen. Look at all these people who are making money. You know what's really scary? If these guys don't have kids, do you know how little we can get by on? Guy with a wife and kids and a house and a mortgage? Oh, they're screwed. They can't. But do you know how little we need to get by on? I make money. I'm making money right now. This YouTube video, I'm making money on this. It's crazy. Those little advertisements, yeah, they make money. Do I need a lot of money? No. I just need it for food, clothing, and shelter. That's it. And there's millions. There's thousands of writers. Hundreds, I should say. Maybe thousands of participants. But there are millions of men and women, you know, who are in this camp. And millions of men, especially in the younger generations, who don't have kids. They can get by. We can do this all day. See, you need government money. You need a constant subsidy. You need to pay for that Prius. Volvo. Prius killed the Volvo star. Prius killed the Volvo star. And the Outback. You got to pay for that. Your house, you know that nice little house you have? Yeah, okay. We don't even need that. You need the money, we don't. So we can outlast, again, German Rommel telling you, we can outlast you. We are more fuel efficient. So it's up to you. Really, feminist, media, socialist, liberal types, it really is up to you how you want to interact with men in society. You can, the mature adult thing to do is approach it and ask, what do men want? Is this really what men want? I mean, look at you. You don't. At any point in time, you can say, you know what? He's crazy. They're crazy. Right? But you can start looking at it. You can start looking at why Bill Burr is such a popular comedian. You can look at why Tom Likas is such a successful radio show personality. You can look at the growth. Look at our readership rates versus 2020 and ABC and Time Magazine. I like that Time Magazine. They really gave it to Reagan back in the 80s. I remember that. Oh, that was a good old days. But where was I going with this? Whatever. Anyway, it's up to you. All right. Would we have liked the lives of, having wife and kids and working hard and having a secure future? Yeah, it would have been nice, but that's not mathematically. It's not possible with the amount of debt we have. Don't give me it's because of the wars. No, it isn't. Look it up. Anytime you can look it up. Should do a video. Look it the fuck up. But yeah, so we're not going anywhere. This is it. Battlefields have been drawn. I've even told you our weakness. If you want us to go away, you just have to give us purpose and agency once again. Start voting like responsible adults. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're too vested. So let's engage in glorious epic battle, glorious epic war. We will destroy you. We will crush you. There's nothing you can do to stop us. And if you're thinking, don't go that route. Don't think about you're going to have to stop us by getting the government in and sending in troops. I wouldn't advise that. Because remember, we don't have anything to lose. And if you're going to come and try and put us in jail, you're going to try and get us arrested, yeah, then we really don't, I'm not going in a cattle car. And I don't think millions of other men are either. Toodles.